From LALATE headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Afternoons LALATE.
It's a big afternoon as we count down the hours until the producer price index is released tomorrow, and then the day after, the consumer price index as well. That signals how much your massive forced stimulus will be. This is lifetime stimulus. The massive lifetime stimulus raise, if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, rural benefits, will be announced in less than 48 hours. But before then, we have the producer price index being released tomorrow. That will give you the guidance on what the number the day after the CPI-W and the COLA raise will be. While the latest details across the board are what to expect in the next 24 hours. Meantime, major breaking news happening left and right today. As the U.S. is watching London, the bond market in London getting the second support interception from the Bank of England to support their bond market as it falls apart. The latest details on that. Back in the United States, the 2-year Treasury bond surged into a 4.3. Oh, wow. Remember when I recorded on this channel no less than a month ago when it was 3.7, I said it was going to go to 4. It's now at a 4.3. This means that debt levels are going to be really bad across the board. Stocks continue to fall as another day, as Jamie Dimon, head of JP Morgan Chase, spoke minutes ago, and yesterday I'll have his comments and my take on that as well. Tomorrow we have Delta Airlines and Citigroup reporting earnings, and I'll give you guidance on what's going on with the earnings recession. And this, my friends, is why I had to get a forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. Into today's recording, we go over these massive federal stimulus checks. FSC, Federal Relief Stimulus Checks. We'll go over the big money across the board, $300,000 over 300 checks. Then we'll go over inflation relief stimulus checks, huge. ISCs, next up, lifetime stimulus checks, LSCs. Promise me this, you'll stay the big second half. You'll stay the big second half as we go over each of these individual checks one at a time. And we'll go over something new about these checks today. It's coming up in the big second half. Plus, we'll be looking at the downgrades from major U.S. companies today and the major beat with American Airlines. But it's holidays, LA. And today we visit the beautiful persimmon, a great holiday fruit, especially for the holiday Thanksgiving and Halloween season. From the shores of Santa Monica, California, the breaking news starts all right here, right now. From the shores of Santa Monica, California, on a big day with big news, it's all right here as Afternoons LALATE gets underway for October 11th, 2022. And good afternoon, everybody. In just days from now, we're going to learn about the massive raise of your benefits. That's coming in on Thursday. That's 48 hours away. But the major week is underway with tomorrow's PPI, the Producer Price Index, being released. We'll have the latest details on that. Plus, the pivot from the Federal Reserve not happening, and what you need to know about the commentary that came in overnight from Cathie Wood, Jamie Dimon, and others, plus the earnings recession. Major companies struggling right today, brand new. The latest on that impacts your wallet. And this, my friends, is why you want to get that stimulus. Massive stimulus coming up in this recording. Promise me this. You'll stay to the second half of this recording because I got massive checks to go over with you one at a time. It's a big day. It's a big show, and I'm excited you're here on America's #3 most watched financial news channel in America. It's LALATE. Unemployment, your forced stimulus, the breaking news starts right now on a big Afternoons LA. How are you? It's also a special edition of Holidays LA. The breaking news as we start today is that the Bank of England has now stepped in to save their bond industry the second time. The bond market in England is falling apart because of their recession. The Bank of England had to step in minutes ago to do another expansion of what's called the emergency bond buying operation. Back in the United States, the 2-year bond, that is a very important indicator of the strength of this economy or weakness, is going the wrong direction again. Nearly a month ago, it was at 3.7, and then when Jay Powell spoke, it went to 3.8. I told you it was going to go to 4.0. Then it got to 4.0. Then I said it's going to go to 5% by the end of the year. Where's it right now? It's at 4.302. Imagine, it's less than a month ago. It was 3.7. It's at 4.3. It's going to be at 4.7 potentially by the end of the week. This is a very big shift across the board. This means the debt is going to be very expensive for you. Credit card debt, car loan debts, and more. Stocks continue to slide as Jamie Dimon, from CEO of JP Morgan Chase, spoke about the markets and said the S&P could fall another 20%. I already told you that earlier this year. More about that in a second. And then Delta and Airlines and Citigroup report corporate earnings tomorrow. Meantime, Apple is not getting the demand for those iPhones. Exactly what we've been worried about. Shipments are down 15% for the third quarter. We learned today they're not alone, as Hewlett-Packard, the computer manufacturer, Dell Computers, also showing less shipments by 16, 18, and 21% respectively. More bad news over on the earnings recession. Meta, formerly Facebook, got a neutral rating. It's a downgrade from overweight by Atlanta Equities. BlackRock was downgraded from buy to neutral by UBS, and Roblox is down 4.3% in pre-market trading. American Airlines, however, bucked the trend. It showed that its third quarter was relatively robust. Earnings for the third quarter were up 13% year to date. Wow. What does this mean? You gotta get that. For a stimulus check in every U.S. state. This is just really not good news, folks. This is really just not good news. And the great news for you, though, is I have massive stimulus for you. This, my friends, is LALATE, America's #3 most watched financial news channel in America. The channel that has captivated a nation. The fastest growing and the most popular, most successful YouTube channel of the last 2 years. Started really on March 25th, 2020. Has gotten viewers $15 million. And membership has been through the roof in the last 2-3 days. Nearly about 100 new members joining every 2 days on this channel. Why? Because I have massive stimulus for you. In this recording, we're going to go over FSC, federal stimulus checks from the federal government, paid by the federal government. That's Congress, the President of the United States, those people in D.C., sent by them, an application with them. They even put the stamp on the envelope. Your state has nothing to do with it. Then we got a lifetime stimulus checks, which heat up on just 2 days from now, on Thursday. And these LSC, lifetime stimulus checks, are the raise of your benefits because of inflation. We'll go over that in just a second. And then we have inflation-released stimulus checks, ISC. These are checks coming for your state. And we'll go over the latest details on those in just a second. But here's what you need to know. Here's what you need to know. We heard that breaking news yesterday. It was a series of reports that talked about debt levels and the ability to afford the debt. And the numbers are just not good. It will choke up anyone. The numbers for the debt levels of young people, middle-aged people, and elderly people are really bad. That's the best way to say it. There's just very bad debt levels. People are carrying on too much debt, credit card debt, car loan debts, home loan debts, too much debt. And then when asked about the question, do you have the money? They said, no, I don't. And then when asked about how long are these debts overdue, they're not overdue by a few days, they're overdue by 6 months. This is big problems. Remember, we do not have an eviction moratorium to prevent evictions. We don't have a mortgage forbearance to prevent mortgage foreclosures. And we don't have extended weeks of extra unemployment benefits like we did during the pandemic. That is why you are here, and that is why the value of this channel is here as well. Now, let's go over the latest details that are important across the board. Tomorrow we have the Producer Price Index, the PPI release. This is how much the wholesaler pays for goods, like the supermarket owner. How much does a supermarket owner pay to buy the product? Not how much you pay, how much the supermarket owner pays. That number is not so dependent upon the gasoline at the pump because the supermarket owner is not buying the gasoline at the pump. That comes out tomorrow, which is Wednesday. It usually comes out the day after the CPI, but this month it's coming out the day before. Here's my analysis. If the number goes up, if it shows that the PPI was up month to month for the month of September, up compared to the month of August, great news for Thursday with that CPI, CPI-W, and COLA. If the number is down, don't think it's bad news for you. It's just, it could be a wash. Why? Because again, it does not have the component of gasoline in there, and it's a different components than your buying power, which is the day after the CPI on Thursday. So let's now tee up Thursday. Thursday is a big day. It is the release of the September CPI. It is the release of the September CPI-W, one of 3 months to determine how much your benefits go up. And yes, it's also the release of the COLA raise for the entire year. This is a major show and a major series of shows all throughout the day, October 13th, 2022. Once your benefits go up, they never go down. Now, let's make this very clear to you. One, your benefits are definitely going up. That's clear. Number two, it will be the largest lift of a generation. We already know that. Number three, it's not going to be your only lift. Only lift. Why? Because we're going to have inflation next year as well, and the year after that, says Jay Powell, head of the Federal Reserve. So it's going to be a great number. It's going to be the biggest number you've ever had, and it's not going to be your only number. So why are we watching Thursday's number? To see how big a number it is. And with that, I have a question for you. Jump in the live chat right now. Where do you believe that CPI-W for Thursday will be? CPI-W. Write the number, write CPI-W, comma the number, your prediction, and your state in the live chat. We'll go over that in just a second. And then we will go over to the COLA raise, write that prediction in the live chat as well. COLA, comma, the number and your state, and we'll go over that in just a second. Jamie Dimon, head of JP Morgan Chase, spoke a lot in the last 2 days because his company is reporting bank earnings. First, he said the S&P could go down another 20%. You know, I love Jamie Dimon. I want to start this by saying I love him. He's very smart. He's very well beloved. He's the head of the largest bank in the United States. But I got to tell you, I'm not loving his comments. I'm not loving his analysis. I think it's too late. And I think it's too almost infantile. I got to say it. I think it's an infantile analysis. We already knew that in recession, stocks go down 50%. So we already know in some cases, some stocks are not yet down 50%. And so for him to say that the S&P can go down another 20%, this is sort of obvious. This is the sort of narrative we've been trying to fix on this channel, that people saying buy, buy, buy in the month of May, June, and July for stocks, and now stocks are at the lowest levels of the year, 2 years, or some cases since the 1990s. Number two, Jamie Dimon is also now saying that the U.S. economy will likely dip into a recession if the Federal Reserve doesn't change policies, or that it is in a recession. I got to tell you, this is sort of, again, too late to the equation. Earlier this year, I was the first American broadcaster in financial news to report the U.S. economy would go into recession. I reported that in February. And at the time J.B. Dimon was asked about it, I ran this story a lot on this channel. He refused to use the word recession. He said, you know what, hurricane out to sea, storm out to sea, similar words that I use, but he refused to use the word recession. Now, what happened along that way? Not necessarily related to him, but people who did not hear the word recession from Jamie Dimon may have thought it's a good economy. He should have come out and say this is going into recession in February. He should not have waited to October to talk about the word recession. He should not have waited to October to talk about falling another 20% of the stock market. He should have talked about this back in February. This is really late to the equation. Who's also doing something similar to this as well today? Kathy Wood, who's head of ARK Investments, a very big ATF that invests in things like Tesla. And she wrote an open letter to Jay Powell yesterday. Is he going to read her letter? Of course not. Is he going to read a letter from Sirloin? Maybe. The likelihood that Jay Powell is going to read a letter from Sirloin versus Jamie Dimon, Sirloin versus Kathy Wood, about the same. Sorry, Kathy. Her open letter is that, Jay Powell, you need to stop raising those interest rates. You're going to throw the U.S. economy into recession. He knows that. I mean, he knows that. And the Fed governors in the last 24 hours said, we're going to continue to raise rates until we get inflation to 2%. And how long will that be? 2024. He made it clear himself out of his own mouth, Jay Powell. And so that is why Tesla is tanking and Kathy Wood's ARK investment is down. She does not want her investments down. She does not want her stocks down. She wants people to change course because her valuations are down. And this is why you watch this channel. You need to know the news 6 months in advance, 6 weeks in advance, not 6 minutes after it happened. The latest details to write today is that that 2-year bond market is one of the numbers I want you to really watch with me this week. 4.302. I think this is really getting scary, folks. Remember, we were 3.7 for the 2-year bond back several weeks ago, last month. I said it was going to go to 4. It went right to 4 immediately. Then I said it's going to go to 5 by the end of the year. We're only right before Halloween, and we're 4.3. Imagine it's gone up from a 4 to a 4.3 in less than about 2 weeks. It's getting really bad. And that's why you have to get that for stimulus checks in every U.S. state. This is why this channel is working. This is why more members are coming to this channel than ever before. This is why the viewership is through the roof. Did you watch Evenings LA last night? Did you watch the live show, actually? Did you watch LALATE live last night? That launched at about 5:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's 8:45 Eastern Standard Time. As soon as the show went live, there was nearly 500 people in the show. I haven't seen anything on this channel like that in a very long time. I look forward to seeing you tonight in that live show as well, because this is what we're going to go over starting right now. Massive stimulus, and that stimulus, you need to understand where it is, how it came from, and what's at issue. Let's go over it right now. Federal stimulus checks, FSC. FSC, from the President of the United States, from Congress, from Washington, D.C., the Senate, the House, nearly $100,000. Single individual, $75,000, let's go get it. Married couple, $150,000, let's go get it. They are checks A, B, and C. Those incredible checks have been on the channel since March, when the President of the United States passed the first checks by executive action. Then it came along Congress. They passed more checks in a bill, and that became checks E through K. Massive stimulus, nearly hundreds of checks at that point. But we continued thereafter. I found you checks L and M, N and O, P and Q, all in the membership newsletter. That's where you get those checks, the membership newsletter. Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. on the West Coast, 10 o'clock on the East Coast, 9 o'clock Central Standard Time. You go out, write down in that incredible membership newsletter, and you apply for those incredible checks. We're going to go over each of those huge checks in just a second. Thereafter, we had inflation relief stimulus checks, ISCs, passed by states. We're going to go over those in just a second as well in the big second half of the show. Make sure you promise you stay in the big second half. And along the way came lifetime stimulus checks. These are LSC, the raise of your benefits, a lifetime, because once your benefits go up, they never go down. They're coming up in the big second half. All those incredible details are what is yielding people massive sums of money. Viewers are getting massive walkaways from this channel, $200,000 by becoming a member for just a few dollars. Can you imagine? Here's an example. Here is an example of what happens when you become a member. Frank Mancuso spent just a few dollars to become a member, just a few dollars, and in less than 30 days, for just a few dollars of becoming a member, he got thousands and thousands of dollars, almost $10,000. 18 months of mortgage, 18 months of utilities, 18 months of high-speed internet. Imagine how much money that is, 18 months of mortgage. That's an enormous sum of money. And you're going to need that. Why? Because of what Jay Powell's doing. Jay Powell and the Federal Reserve is going to raise those interest rates next month and every month into 2024. And that's going to cost living a lot more expensive than ever before. The Federal Reserve's raising rates is sort of embodied in a major report released yesterday. It shows that young people, middle-aged, and elderly people have too much debt. We talked about this earlier this year. I showed you the graphic. I said, get rid of the debt. Get rid of the debt right away. Before Jay Powell in the fall of this year, which we're at now, I warned this last summer, raises rates because the debt will be too expensive to afford. The debt will be more expensive. You won't be able to pay for it. Now Americans are carrying debt at 6 months overdue. That's number one. Number two, they're carrying the debt at the current debt levels. Imagine when Jay Powell raises rates, making your debt more expensive next month, the month after that, for the next 2 years. Very, very dark. Very, very dark. And this is why rampant spending by Americans is not what you're doing. You want to get as much stimulus as you can from this channel. You want to remove your debt. And you want to continue to get as much information so you know where this economy is going before it's there. And with that, let's go right into some checks. Let's go into checks A, B, and C, the first three checks of those FSCs. I'm so excited for you. I'm really just feeling the excitement. I hope you are as well. Those incredible checks A, B, and C heat up this broadcast starting right now. Check A is a $6,500 to $12,000 fourth stimulus check in every U.S. state. Single individual, $75,000 less, go get it. Married couple, $150,000 less, go get it. And if you're on benefits, go get it as well. Spelly got this incredible check. Congratulations to Spelly. How do you get this check? Step one, you go in this video, become a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP member. Then get that incredible membership newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time via the YouTube alert. Go down that incredible membership newsletter till you find it, check A. Click the link and go right in and apply for that incredible check A. Now remember, I'm making it very clear. How do you get this incredible check? You become a member, you get the membership newsletter, and you go down to check A, click the link, and go right in and apply. But you're not done there yet. You're going to go get check B. Check B is wonderful. That's the check that Frank Mancuso got. Another of you out of Florida got 80 to 100 checks of check B, nearly $100,000. How do you get check B? Step one, join this channel. Become a member. Step two, get the newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time via YT YouTube alerts. Go down the membership newsletter, you find it, check B, click the link, and go in and apply. You only apply for check A and B online. There's no telephone calling, only online in the membership newsletter. And we're not done there yet. You're going to go get check C. Check C is wonderful. Check C is for rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and more. Those incredible check Cs are just great. How do you get them? You become a member. In the membership newsletter, it tells you who to call, what to say, and how to say it for check C. And here is another promise I need you to make. Check C has 12 places to reach out for it. 12 places to reach out for check C, which is rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and more. The average view of this channel is getting 18 months of it. 18 months of 5 checks a month, that's 80 checks a month. 80 checks a month, but you have 12 places to go get it in the membership newsletter. So make sure you reach out to all 12. You're going to have a rejection rate. You're going to have a no. You're also going to have a yes. So for every no, go get a yes because you got 12 places to reach out to for those incredible check Cs. Let's look at some of the success stories that viewers have gotten for check Cs. Again, this channel has gotten viewers $50 million. One of the most successful YouTube channels to launch in the last 2 years. Hundreds of millions of views from this channel because hundreds of millions of people have been helped and gotten money from these broadcasts. Do you want $30,000 of rent? Go get check C. Do you want $15,000 of utilities? Go get check C. Mark's brother-in-law got $15,000. Lynn Glenn, who's in all the live chats, got 12 months of utilities just days ago. Another viewer also got 12 months of utilities. 2 viewers got 14 months of rent. Snap, the same brother-in-law of Mark's, is getting $250,000 over 10 years. Combinations. Niece, who's at $23,000 of checks, now she's at $50,000. Mark, you see him right here, he's at $32,000, then he went to $50,000, then he went to $166,000. Imagine Mark just paid a few dollars to become a member, just a few dollars, and he walked away with $166,000 from this channel. Where can you put a few dollars and get $166,000 back? It doesn't exist. Doesn't exist in the stock market, the bond market, the crypto, doesn't exist anywhere. That's the value of this channel. Lorraine, she was at 105 and she went to 155. Remember, you go into this video, you subscribe to LA1, LA2, or LA3. They get that membership newsletter for any of those 3 channels, LA1, LA2, or LA3. Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Go down the membership newsletter to see the check and apply for that incredible check one at a time. Now, throughout the day, we're sending you alerts of videos that are happening. Here's an example of alert. This is the Sunset show that airs at 9 o'clock nightly. Every alert that you're getting about a new show looks the same way. Down around the 4th line of the alert, it says explaining newsletter. Notice that that's a YouTube alert link. That's an actual video. It's been on this channel for nearly a year. It's a video that explains how the newsletter works. So for every alert that you got, if you want more information about how the newsletter works, go down and watch that video. It's called Explaining the Newsletter. It's in every alert that you get from this channel as a beautiful member. And with that, let's continue with the breaking news across the board that's at issue today. The other breaking news, which is the inability or ability of J-Pow to get that inflation down. Gasoline has been fascinating in the last 2 days of using gasoline. Gasoline went up and then it went down and then it went up again. What's going on here? Now, let me tell you what isn't going on. What isn't going on is what I saw on local news yesterday. A local news reporter said gasoline is falling in Los Angeles by a 1.5 cents, by 2 cents, because those refineries offline because of Hurricane Ian are back online. It's a little bit more complicated than that, my friend. It's a little bit more complicated than that. So if you do see the AAA national average gasoline coming back down and then going back up, don't read too much into it. What do I want you to look at? The Brent crude, the international price of Brent crude, the international price of gasoline. That's the number you want to look at. That number determines inflation more than anything else. It's tracking at about a 97. It's gone to 100 in the last few days. It's gone down to 94. It's not doing that $88 Brent crude number anymore. Remember it was 84 in July and 83 a little bit in August. Yeah, it ain't doing that type of low numbers anymore. Why? The consortium of oil-producing countries, OPEC Plus, cut production of gasoline last week. 2 million barrels cut per day. Price manipulation, of course. This is trying to increase the price of gasoline. Less gasoline pumped by OPEC Plus, then less available of a product, the same amount of demand, or actually maybe a little bit more demand now in the fall, they can get a higher price of the gasoline. That's why Congress is calling upon an effort called No OPEC to call OPEC Plus a cartel and go after them under the Sherman Act. Well, interesting across the board. What it means for you, inflation. What it means for you, more inflation than the month before. Gasoline had been going down the month of July, going down the month of August. Then it started going up in the month of September. And with these cuts of OPEC Plus, and this is just this month's cut, folks. Let me make this clear to you. This is just this month's cut. If they keep on cutting, you're going to see more inflation. And guess who can't get down gasoline-caused inflation in the U.S. economy? Jay Powell. I had reported this in February this year. Inflation, when it's caused by supply chain disruption or gasoline inflation, is not solved by raising rates at the Federal Reserve. So wait a second. Jay Powell's raising rates. He's costing it more expensive for you to live. And then it's actually not solving the problem? Yes. Now analysts are coming out and saying what I said back in February, which is the following. Of all the different items of inflation, raising interest rates at the Federal Reserve doesn't fix anything. It could potentially fix the grocery bill. It hasn't yet. It could potentially fix the salary inflation, the raise of wages. It hasn't yet. That's gone up 0.3% in the latest monthly data released last week in the non-farm payroll monthly numbers. Can it reduce the rent? I think it actually increases the rent. Why? If the interest rates are higher, less people can afford a mortgage to buy a home. If you can't buy a home, you continue to rent. If you continue to rent, there's less vacancies in the rentals. And if there's less vacancies, the landlord, yes, can charge a higher rent. So now this is looking really good for Jay Powell, is it? It's just not looking good. And that is why a lot more people are coming out and saying, you know what your policy is doing? It's not fixing the situation. And will the Federal Reserve pivot? They said no, even in the last 24 hours. Absolutely no. At what point do they pivot? I don't see that happening at all, ever. And I'm not alone, as Mohammed Al-Ararian, if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, I'm sorry. He's a brilliant analyst and a brilliant economist, said yesterday the Fed is not going to pivot anytime soon. If the Fed is not going to pivot anytime soon, you get that incredible stimulus. You stay the big second half, which is coming up now in 60 seconds as we go over each of these incredible checks. And also we go into Holidays LA. We go over all those huge checks in the big second half starting right now.
If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE.
And the excitement continues in the big second half on the shores of Santa Monica, California. Hope you have a beautiful day. It's cooler here along the coast. In this big second half, we go over these incredible stimulus items one at a time. LFCs, ISCs, and FSCs. You need it because inflation is pervasive. You need it because inflation is not going away for 2 more years. You need it because we're in a recession. You need it because the economy is falling apart very quickly. And you need it because more people will be competing against you for the stimulus than ever before. This is what we call a stimulus stampede, and it's happening right now on this channel. We have talked about it all year long. And that stimulus stampede has begun as Americans are now struggling to pay their bills more than ever. This was the graphic I showed earlier this year. I said that in September, the stimulus stampede starts when Americans started looking for more stimulus than ever before. That's why you're here. And with that, I welcome all my wonderful new viewers. I welcome all my wonderful new members. Welcome to LALATE. What are you watching? You're watching the number 3 most watched financial news channel in America in broadcasting. Number 2, you're watching the most successful brand new YouTube channel in the last 2 years with hundreds of millions of views in just 2 years. Why? Because I've gotten more people, more money than any broadcaster in the face of American broadcasting in the last 2 years, $50 million. And with that, let's go over the incredible monies at issue, starting now with the continuation of those FSCs. The first FSCs we went through were checks A, B, and C. Let's continue now with the ones done by Congress. These are checks E through K. Again, FSC means federal stimulus checks. It's an acronym on this channel that refers to checks from Congress or the president, the people in Washington, D.C. They pay for it, they run the application, they mail it out. Has nothing to do with your states. It's run by the federal government. You ready? Let's go to check E. Check E, $7,500. Wow, that's great. Check F, $4,000. My Lord. Check G, 30% off. I love it. $2,000 for check H. Oh, wow. Check I, $8,000. That's exciting. Check J, $8,000. Also really exciting. Check K, $14,000. A $14,000 stimulus. My Lord, LALATE, that is incredible. That is checks E through K. Then I found you other checks thereafter, and I continue to find you checks. Checks L and M. L is $100,000 on average of loan interest free money, and M is $4,000 of free grant money. Stimulus N, one of my favorite stimulus items, free internet, free computer, tablet or desktop, $100 or less from a participating provider. Most tablets are less than $100, so this works beautifully. Imagine how great your life would be with a brand new tablet and free internet. Then, Stimulus O, we have zero down payment, zero closing costs, no insurance required, and no credit check required for the purchase of a brand new home. And then we go into Stimulus P and Q. Q is $8,000 of free money for you, and P is $3,000, 3% down for a refi. Those are the FSCs. Now let's recap to get a summation of what's going on with those FSCs. Federal stimulus checks, FSCs. Largest check, $100,000. Smallest check, $8,000. Fastest routing time, 2 days. Johnny started on Monday. By Wednesday, 2 days, he had $45,000. By Friday, he had $80,000 by applying with 15 places and getting 7 approved, 50% approval rating. Next, checks of what type? Well, we got checks for the house, for the apartment. We got home repairs. We got refrigerators, appliances. We have stuff for the car. We have the computer, the internet. We got repairs. We got utility bills. I mean, we literally got almost everything except the bacon. We got literally almost something for everything. And those, my friends, are FSCs. So what do? Step one, you go under this video and become a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP. Join the channel. Then, listen to me carefully. You get the membership newsletter delivered from me to you. Watch the time. Monday through Friday, 7 o'clock West Coast time, Pacific Standard Time, which is 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, or 9 o'clock Central Standard Time. You go down that incredible newsletter and apply for check A. B, C tells you who to call, and all those incredible checks all the way up to Q. Remember, in all the alerts you have about videos throughout the day, there is also a help to video that explains how the newsletter works. It's an informational how-to video. It's been around a long time, but because people aren't watching, I want to remind you it's there. Everything that I could ever tell you about the newsletter is in that how-to video that explains how the newsletter works. It is in every alert. This is the alert for the Sunset Show that airs at 9 o'clock throughout the board. Now, in addition to those incredible FSCs, we got some ISC, Inflation Relief Stimulus Checks. ISCs. These are from your states. And these incredible relief stimulus checks, where do you find them? In the membership newsletter. Go down the membership newsletter to check D, like donut. Click the link. It opens up a brand new page. At check D, it lists the states, and it has the state. It has the amount. Then it has a link to go into the website for your state, in which you can learn about the routing times, how it's sent out. These are automatic direct deposit. What do you need to know? Most checks are $1,000 or less. Number two, they're for you. Same eligibilities we generally go over on other stimulus. Number three, they come by direct deposit, otherwise in mail. Number four, you generally have to have a tax return on file. Go to irs.gov to voluntarily file that tax return. If you don't, so they know where to send the money. We're not done there yet. It's now time for some lifetime stimulus checks. And this is getting exciting. So yes, 24 hours away from the PPI, 48 hours away from the announcement of the raise of your benefits. On October 13th, we will learn how much your benefits go up. And this is the culmination of nearly 2 years of recordings. Wow, exciting. 2 years ago, we talked about SS200, then we talked about SS300, then we talked about SS400, then we talked about this stimulus, recon, swapping COLA for inflation. But all that came to a head and started to work beautifully because inflation went high. What happens on Thursday? On Thursday, we get released your COLA, C-O-L-A, for this year. COLA determines how much your benefits go up. Once they go up, they never go down. This is going to be the largest lift you're going to have of a generation. We already know that because inflation has never been this high of a generation. You're also going to get a lift next year because there'll also be inflation around that year as well. So you get a lift on top of this lift, and the year after that, you'll get a raise again. Inflation will not be as high, obviously, next year or the year after, but you'll still get another raise. Once your benefits go up, they never go down. That COLA announcement on Thursday will also come at the same time. I know it's anticlimactic, at the same time that the CPI-W for the month of September is released. Why is this important? Your benefits are determined by three numbers. Well, your COLA is determined by three numbers. The CPI-W for the month of July, the CPI-W for the month of August, and the CPI-W for the month of September. You and I have been discussing this on this channel for nearly all year long. And what do we know? That July CPI-W was 8.7. The August CPI-W was 8.9. And I've been asking you for 2 months, where do you believe that CPI-W for September, released on October 13th, Thursday, will come in at? Viewers have said 9.1, 9.2, 9.3. What do you say today? Have you revised your analysis? I have not. I'm agreeing with you. I think it's about a 9.1. Why have viewers put it higher than the month of August? Because they've listened to the data. All the elements are going up, and the only element that went down in July and August, gasoline, went up in the second half of September. So that's why viewers are actually tracking this number higher. Now, before we go into that number, let's go back into tomorrow's data. Tomorrow's the producer price index. And so if that number is higher for September than the prior month of August, if it shows it went up month to month from August to September, this is really good news that your analysis is correct, that the CPI also the day after will go up compared to the month of August, monthly data. If the PPI tomorrow goes down, I don't think it means anything for your CPI. Why? Because CPI is dependent on gasoline, not so much the PPI. All right. So what are we seeing when we look at that CPI-W? We're seeing the following three warm-ups. The rent. Is the rent going down? No. Rent has not gone down in the United States whatsoever, going up 1% per month. So there's no indication that's going to go down in the month of September. Number two, are the salaries going up? We have the answer for this one. This one's easy. We had that answer on last Friday. The non-farm payroll number released last Friday showed for the month of September, salaries went up 0.3%. This is compared to the prior month of CPI-W that showed salaries went up 0.2%. So it's actually accelerating higher. Number three, the medical bills. Is anyone's medical bills going down? Of course not. They're not going down. So that's easy. So then we go into the gasoline. This is where viewers have really listened and learned to earn. They all watched with you and I, you and me, members and subscribers, that gasoline went higher in the second half of September. It went higher after falling in July, falling in August. And that is why viewers are putting that CPI-W higher. And then finally, I gotta ask, is there anything left that's going down? There's nothing left that's going down. Groceries aren't going down. The soda's not going down. Let's jump in the live chat right now. When comparing to the prior month of August, in the month of September, did the following items go down or up, comma your state? The bleach for cleaning your clothes, did it go down in the month of September compared to the month of August? Write bleach, comma your state in the live chat. And the answer in this chat for me is bleach way up, comma California. Next, has the hair products gone down or up compared to the prior month in the month of September? I don't see them going down at all. See how I'm pivoting? I'm doing consumer goods right now. I'm not doing groceries. Have hair products gone down in the month of September? No, I don't see them. I've actually seen them go up. Hair products, comma, up, comma, California. And finally, clothing. The retailers for the clothing, whether it's a shirt or a pair of pants, have they gone down in the month of September? I don't see them going down at all. So clothing, comma, up, comma, California. What's your answer in the live chat? That's why I think you really are right in saying that CPI-W is going up in the month of September. Again, viewers are putting it at 9.1 to 9.3. What are you saying right now? Jump in the live chat. Which brings us then to the COLA raise. Viewers are tracking that COLA raise at about 11 to 12 to 13% raise being announced on Thursday. Where am I putting it at? 11%. Would it shock us if it came in at 10%? No. Would it shock us if it came in at 14%? No. Would it shock us if it came in at 8%? I think it would. I think it would be shockingly lower than we expected. If it came in at 15%, I think that would really surprise us. So I think you're really at the money. It's a hard number to predict. Remember, viewers are putting this about 11, 12, 13. I'm putting it at about 11%, that COLA raise on Thursday. Which brings us then to some deliciousness. Not the present. Another type of deliciousness. That other type of delicious is this. It's Holidays LA, now underway. On Holidays LA today, we go over the deliciousness of the fruits of the holiday season. One of the great fruits of the holiday seasons is the incredible persimmon. Here we go. There are lots of different persimmons. This persimmon is a very rare kind. It is a fruit, and it is very native here in Southern California. Hard to grow in other climates, but there are lots of different persimmons. If you're in the supermarket, there's a small green type. They usually don't come this big. Look how big it is compared to my face. This is, you're probably saying, I know persimmons. I've never seen a persimmon that big. Yes, this is a rare type of persimmon. It is, the camera lighting is distorting the colorization. Let me back it up a little bit more. Yes, so now you see it. It's an orange persimmon. Beautiful because it is so, I bring it close to the light, it makes it more yellow. Beautiful because it is so orangish. It's indicative of Halloween. It's indicative of Thanksgiving. It is very ironic that it blooms literally exactly the same day every year. Today, it blooms just in time for the cola announcement. Every year it comes out right the day of the cola announcement. No, it started coming out about a week ago. So the persimmon is really comes out right around the first week of October. You may think of it as a Halloween fruit, but by the end of the month, it's too late to pick it. It is now past its blooming. It's too soft. If you're in the supermarket, the prime time to buy it is really the early part of October. And the worst time to buy it is probably the end of October. So while we think of it as a fruit that comes out around Halloween, it doesn't. It really comes out at the very end of September and then is ripe for picking in early October. How should you approach the persimmon when buying or picking? It's a hard fruit. It has a hard outer crust and a soft inner core. You want to pick it. This is ripe. This is not ready to eat, but this was ripe to pick, ripe to buy. This is correct to buy or correct to pick, but not ready to eat. Why? You want to get it on your countertop in the kitchen when it's this color. When it is a beautiful orange, you want to get it. You want to get it when it's firm. It's sort of like a tomato. It's the approach of buying a tomato. You want the tomato firm. You don't want any softness of the tomato because the tomato's soft, in 2 days it's going to be rotten. You want it nice and firm. So if you're looking at the tree, you want it off the tree when it looks like this. You don't want any greenness. In some cases, you may be half green, half orange, then you pick it. But you want it off the tree or you want it out of the store and bought when it's this. People don't realize this. You put the persimmon on the counter in the kitchen. This way, it will ripen itself so that it's ready for you to eat. It's much like a tomato. So you buy that tomato at the supermarket and you say, oh, these tomatoes are really tough and hard. No, that's the way you buy them, because in the next 3 or 4 days, they're going to soften up and they're going to be even more delicious than they are. Same thing with persimmon. Persimmon does not ripen as fast as a tomato, but that's how you approach the situation across the board. Jump in the live chat. What is your holiday fruit for this month of October that you really like? Tell me what other fruit you really like to indulge in the month of October that we really don't see the rest of this year. And you may be in all the parts of the country that we don't have those fruits. So I always love your answers across the board. Meantime, if you have a particular if you have a particular use for a fruit this holiday month of October, what do you do with that fruit? I know a lot of people like to make preserves, or a lot of people like to make a pie. But what do you like to do? Some people like to make a cake. Some people like to make a custard. I like custards. I think custards are very, very simple. You just heat up that pan. You get a little bit of milk in there, and you just cook it very, very softly, sort of like a flan, and bring it out. I don't like to make it into a bread because then you're tasting the grains. You're not really tasting the fruit. Other people like a preserve. I'm not so much into the preserves because then you sugar it down. But one of my favorites, and I bet you've never tried this, is ice cream. Yeah. You don't have to have the most expensive ice cream maker. In fact, you don't even have to have an ice cream maker. For example, if a persimmon, what you can do is you can whip it around. Obviously take out the skin, whip around the core, the inside. Then put a little bit of milk or cream, even better, and then put it in like a little plastic container, put in the freezer. You're done. That is going to be a delicious sorbet. I call it ice cream, but it's really like a sorbet. A delicious sorbet, an ice down, hard, beautiful, creamy consistency, icy consistency of a delicious fruit. And you can do that with a lot of different fruits across the board. Yes, your holidays LALATE is back, baby. Deliciousness. In tonight's recording, we go over more about what's going on with this economy. What do? You want to get as much money as you can. You go around this video, become a member, Purple Hawk, Purple Power Cow, VIP. You do not wait. Remember, the informational video about the newsletter is in every alert about this channel. Watch that explaining newsletter video so it explains to you everything you need to know about the newsletter. And don't forget to become a member. Don't forget to get all your applications in as quickly as possible for that incredible stimulus. Go down the membership newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to apply for the incredible stimulus. Thank you for staying for the big second half. I look forward to seeing you tonight on a big Evenings LALATE. It's at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And then, yes, let's see if we can do another blockbuster LALATE live tonight. That show was out of control last night. It was absolutely incredible. It started at about 5:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8:45 Eastern Standard Time. For the shores of Santa Monica, California, God bless. Stay informed, stay focused, and stay with LA for more.